Hi, my friends, and welcome to Trey's Myths and Timeless Tunes. I got this shirt on again. Decided that G coming off wasn't enough to deter me from wearing it one more time. Today's talk is called Lone-lie-ness, To-get-her-ness, and ONENESS. Uh-huh. Whoa, yeah. Uh-huh. 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 Wow. Yeah. It is yo. Oh, yeah. I said pressure drop. You're gonna feel it. Pressure gonna drop on you. When you stop obeying the lies and the bullshit, pressure's gonna drop on you. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Ooh, yeah. And this goes to the man in the airplane recording what I'm saying. And this goes to every CIA guy and everyone who wants to be free. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Whoa. Yeah. Now it is yo. Oh, yeah. I said pressure drop. You're gonna feel it. Pressure's gonna drop inside your head when you stop obeying the lies and the living dead. Pressure's gonna drop inside your head when you stop and awaken your third eye. Pressure's gonna drop inside your mind. Uh-huh, uh-huh, uh-huh. Whoa, yeah. Lone-lie-ness, to-get-her-ness, and oneness. Look how unhappy the obedient always are, no matter how many millions or billions of dollars they have, unfulfilled. The answer is harmless discernment, alternatives created by the self. What does that mean? That means if you go back and watch at least a half dozen of my other videos, you would know by now. Most of the systems we lived in are rigged. Most of the systems you and I have grown up with are rigged systems. As George Carlin said, it's a big club, and you're not in it unless you are. And even if you are, it's worse. Why? Because then you have the curse of soullessness, the curse of disconnection from the oneness. Okay, so the Dark Ones, ever since the Snake Brotherhood in the days of Atlantis, and far before that, when they closed over the Stargates in Lucifer's rebellion 26,000 years ago, putting these huge pylon implant networks into the earth, selenite rods the size of skyscrapers in the earth, were programmed to the frequency of snake, and somewhere along in that region of time, um, Maldek, there was the electrical wars. Maldek and another one, Tiamat, smashed up into Earth, and Maldek was a dark side planet, I believe, and it had the black goo. So this is a huge conspiracy theory coming from a man, a European named Harold Core, that did a huge amount of research that found this evil black goo that Hitler was actually giving to his men as well. Actually, the Zetas were probably lining it with. They found it in their rings and wearables, so that it would incite the violence. However, on the plus side, he said the Mother Earth has a natural black goo that made him feel oneness with all beings. So look up his YouTube video. It's fascinating research, really. I think he might be accurate on that. So the selenite crystals, were programmed by these dark ones to make us slaves, selfish, psychopathic, narcissists, and so forth. So the key points of the grid programmed in reversals. The idea of the 144,000 saved exoteric. The program is the fake. It's the 144,000 it takes to run the reincarnation death machine, perhaps. Why are people with fully operational oneness consciousness hard to find in the year 2023 in real time? Well, maybe because I'm lying about being oneness conscious, or because they of course, there's the usurpers of dogma, fear, guilt, hatred, the lower emotions. As I've said before many times, the reptilians and their minions, the Zetas and other groups such as the Anunnaki, have programmed and controlled the lower base chakras and hybridized us to be their slaves for many, many thousands of years. So the lower emotions have been exaggerated, and it's very obvious if you notice. If you notice how you feel in nature or by the ocean when you're alone, compared to when you're with someone who's programmed more than you, or even yourself if you're not fully there. The lower emotions, the reptilian brain will always be controlled by the reptilians by the dark side, until you have full discernment and liberation of your mind through enlightenment, through realizing the truth of who you are from the beginning to the end. Um, so, what is stopping you and me from full Christ awareness, from being in community? Why am I not in a community yet? Why are you not in a community yet? Well, we're building one here. It's small, but I'm happy to have the several of you listening here. So the reason why is because of ancient inversions and these implanted ideas. Okay, so remember, it's really easy to see, for those who have the eyes to see, how nearly everything is the exact opposite of respectful awareness. It's a substitute for the real, respectfully aware, true Christ. And the inspiration for this video, part of it was a man I met last night, and I was having the dark ones attack me through the gadgetry here by preventing me from uploading. I went around to about 5 laundromats because I had to do a load of laundry, and none of them had Wi-Fi. There's one that had Wi-Fi on the west side with no electricity. The other two that I used to have Wi-Fi won't let me get on. And I'm sure the Cruzio has Illuminati ties, and they probably noticed I have 150 videos spreading the truth. So it's a good time to implement their part of the New World Order, which was to not let me upload or go online. So, studying Buddhism for years, I pretty much kept cool with it. And it was funny, an attractive 16-year-old Latina girl working at the laundromat downtown, which I just assumed because it was downtown that it was going to have it. Didn't have Wi-Fi, and she didn't have a key to the bathroom. So I had to talk some trash. And I knew the owner's name, and I started talking trash about him because, hey. But it was funny because she had on a jersey that said Jamaica 45, so I had to tell her that for about 12 years we played with DJs in the restaurants and nightclubs several times a week, usually in Jamaican music in Santa Cruz. So in the old days when you see they would use traditions, infiltration, right? So the hologram of your belief programs and your habits are keys, right? So in the old days, the yogis, as they were called, are still called, in India and around the world, it comes with the idea that, or for example, a Hindu or certain type of yogis, or what do we call the Hinayana. It's the idea of individual enlightenment. Okay, so these people believe that you know, all that matters is that they're enlightened. I remember when Bartzis first came online and he was making claims that one of the reasons why he's going on YouTube is that it didn't really matter that he was enlightened if he didn't, you know, that it was about the collective helping everyone else to wake up and regain their spiritual and their healing powers. And Mark Passio calls it the aggregate. He learned as a satanic high priest that you have to control 51% of the people's minds. So he has, you know, hundreds of T-shirts that spread, he sells that spread freedom awareness, and a lot of free videos. So the way that the dark ones infiltrated in the old days was simply through this ideation that all that mattered was your, so that you just focus on your little me, right? Your individual egoic or your individual essence, enlightenment, right? Which is important, but once you've done that for a while and it's the age of Aquarius now, it can almost feel irrelevant unless you share. Thus, thus channeling, you know, thus groups. Um, well, the Mahayana, with the introduction of the Mahayana came the idea that everything can be your dharma, everything can lead to your enlightenment. At the marketplace, the sexual act, everything can be a part of your enlightenment. It's not this hermit thing, right? So, but the electronic gadget, the pooter, the Steve Jobs work, he was a sun sign Aquarius, and this YouTube, for me is, again, it's I'm just bridging my Mayan sign is the white planetary world bridger, so I'm just bringing my wisdom that I studied for 30 years onto the pooter here. So that's all. I'm just bridging it. So the idea that you have to be lonely or that you're lonely is this completely retarded, distorted inversion of the obvious truth. But you don't have to go to jail. You don't have to move to a crowded region. You don't have to obey Satan or Lucifer. You don't have to be a wage slave. You don't have to be any kind of a slave or live in a big city to believe this lie. You know, because the truth is that, you know, the idea that you're born alone and you die alone is also a half truth. Pretty much every cliche, 95% of your cliche statements, you know, they could be designed to pull your mind into a certain way of thinking. You know, they might have a half truth, right? So, saving others, you know, it's like another example of false thinking. I can't, like I said, I can't save you, but if you learn something from this, if you increase your awareness, and it increased the consciousness of the aggregate working towards full oneness and full disclosure. Um, so it was really funny. I've probably seen this guy like 12, 15 times, 20 times over the last 20 years. And he'd buy health food. And I've even seen him, I thought he might have a mutable zodiac sign. I've seen him buying some of the similar things after I bought him, or I noticed he would notice what I bought. And if it was something healthy, he might try it. And he would be polite, but not polite. You know what I mean? He would nod, or like, he's very observant, and short haircut and a mustache, and it's all white now. Um, anyway, he would flirt with the cashier sometimes at the food bin, but he would always be very laid back, but very observant. So I just kind of felt like he was a CIA or mafia or just a information NSA kind of guy. And so after racing to the health food store, and my computer and the interception wasn't going to let me get online after all that all day, and it was getting toward closing time, and I let the dark side spirits like Zetas and so forth in, and unfortunately, and then I looked. He was walking by to grab some food at the last minute, and I looked at him and I said, "Your fake ass secret society can't doesn't rule over shit.